Hey y'all, hope you're doing good today. So, I want to share some thoughts on what it means to be intentional, and I'm going to call it giving the human touch. Okay, it sort of feels like as we progress throughout time, just advancing naturally as just humanity in general, it sort of feels like we're losing that. Things seem to be less personal and less thoughtful and more mechanical, and it just sort of feels like this is just an overarching theme, by the way, but it sort of feels like we're just losing that aspect of ourselves, of humanity, just the human touch, the personal, intentional touch, which is just another way, another avenue to show compassion towards one another, just another form of expressing love for one another, right? Which is the ultimate. And so I could go way down that tangent, but you follow. I know you do. So I'll start by saying that I bought this book, and I have to be careful because buying books is something that I can do really quickly without a lot of investigation. If I am in a bookstore or even like a thrift shop or something like that, and a book catches my attention, I'll flip through it, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time debating over if I should buy it or not. I'm probably just going to go ahead and buy it, especially if it's not too expensive. But it's been sort of backfiring on me lately because a lot of the books that I've purchased have not turned out to be what I thought they were. And so this is going to be another one that I'll probably donate. And it's not a bad book. That's the thing. It's really not a bad book, but it's just not anything new for me. And I think that maybe 5 or 6 years ago, or 7 years ago, something like that, it may have really resonated with me on my path at that time. But where I am now, it's kind of like I've already been there and figured a lot of this stuff out just naturally on my own. But I think it's a beautiful book. I think it's a very supportive book, and it gives you some really good grounding type things to think about, and I think it would really help a person connect dots on their healing journey if they've gone through something difficult. So I'll probably again donate it, but and I don't know if I'll give a review. I haven't read the whole thing. I've read maybe a third of the way through, and then I just wound up flipping through and scanning the rest of it just to see if I really want to go any further. But before I donate it, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do a little review. But my plan is when I donate it, I'll probably take it to, I have found this small little, I don't know what you call it, but these little miniature libraries are popping up everywhere, like on the street corner, where there's this enclosure and people can leave books or take books. And I think that's super cool. And I have given books to those types of, I don't know what else to call them except a library. I've given books before. And I've also kind of looked through the ones that were there. And what's really cool is, yeah, it's an exchange between strangers. That's true. But you can tell that the people that are leaving these books, there's some thrown in there where, maybe it was just there wasn't a lot of thought behind it, but a lot of the books also that you find in these little containers have a little personal touch. Sometimes you'll find a person's own notes written throughout a book, which I love, and sometimes you'll find even little pretty bookmarks that they include and things like that, and it's just beautiful. And I think that when we're trying to live intentionally and specifically just trying to sprinkle seeds of joy and hope out there in this crazy world for people, that's just one way we can do it, And even if we don't get to see the fruits of our labor, just knowing that we put something, even small, good, out into the world, and it's something from our heart. It's something personal, like a handwritten note or a handmade bookmark, or just notes and things like that. When we put that out into the world, it's something that can only come from us. And that's what makes it a personal touch. Because these books are just mass produced and mechanically. So I think it's really important to start to look for the ways that we can add our own personal touch into all these different interactions we have into the world, right? And so that got me to thinking. I have a little album here, and I don't have a whole lot in it, but probably about 10 years ago or so, 9 or 10 years ago, I was really into exchanging art through the mail, and it was a lot of fun. And so I also really got into eBay. On eBay, and I've mentioned this before, but you can buy these little small cards, and they're almost like playing cards, but they're art cards. And if you want to look it up, the term is ACEO, and it stands for art, I believe, art collectibles. I forget what the ENO is, but it's original collectibles. Or, some of them are, prints, and that's fine too. But a lot of the people that put these for sale on eBay, they're not asking a lot. It's really, you can tell that these people are creating because they just have it in them and they want to create. And then, if you go and you have an interest in these things, I think that that's, really special as well if you are someone who can appreciate handmade art like that. And so I've sold a few, and it was really cool, when I would have people that had interest in mine and that bought mine. And typically you find that the artists that sell these cards have a theme or particular topics of interest. And so, but I wanted to share some of these with you all today. And so I know Halloween's coming up. I have a few here. If you are a fan, you might really like these. And if I have the artist's name, I will share that with you all. But here we have a little black cat, and this is original art. You can feel the paint on the card, but it's just really, really beautiful. You can see the colors here in it, and you can see the size. They're small. But it's called Black Cat Autumn Breeze, and this is from Piece of Pie Studio. And so, created in 2015, just really cool. And then I have, put on back here, I just wanted to share some art today. I have another little card, and this one's in a really nice little hard plastic case. But how beautiful is that little street scene, little winter street scene? I'm sorry for the glare of my ring light there, but the colors and the details just so beautiful and just happy. I describe art as happy a lot, but this is from Marion Weber, and just gorgeous. Another original little miniature art piece. And then I have a little snowy cabin, and I love how and this is something cool with art. It's like, yeah, you can have something of reference to look at in reality, but then you can kind of add your own personal touches once again, or your own imagination to it, and it just sort of makes it like a little wonderland, So here we have the little snowy cabin, but yet there's still some of the autumn colors in the trees, which you wouldn't see down here in the south. If there's snow in the south, it's just going to be evergreen trees, and then just in other words, there's not going to be any of the autumn leaves left. But just beautiful. And I love the little landscapes like that. And then this looks like a place that I've never seen in reality, maybe somewhere in, I don't know, Sweden, or I don't know, somewhere in that area. But look how beautiful. Look at the mountains and the little river with the stones, all the rocks, and the beautiful colors, and the small cabin. And I don't have the names of these artists, but they're just beautiful. And I actually remember buying this next one. And this person had some really neat art out there, but a lot of the other cards were very simple. This was probably the most detailed and elaborate, I guess you might say, miniature painting they had. So I wanted to pick it up. It was not expensive at all. And I felt like, they could have asked more, but I genuinely wanted it, but I also thought, if I purchased this, it could be encouraging this person too to keep going and to value their art, more. This person, a lot of people have themes, like I've said. This is from Lynn Kohler Chatting. Or no, maybe Lynn Kohler. Maybe the title is Chatting. I'm not sure. But how beautiful is that? The colors. And I love how it's either, I guess, ink or watercolors. I love how they all kind of blend together. Reminds me of the encaustics that I used to do with the wax. I don't do them anymore. I probably will at some point, but I haven't in a long time because the setup and the cleanup takes forever on encaustics. So, and then you kind of get into more magical or esoteric type themes in this next section here. So this is from Alicia. I can't read her last name. Hayes, I think. And it's called I'm Late. And I believe this was a print of one of her larger paintings. But how cool is that? And then we have a little Halloween type drawing here, or I'm not sure. It looks like it was, she tells lino cut on rice paper with water soluble ink. Happy Halloween. And this is from the artist Surrey, I think Surry. I'm sorry, I thought I had it on the screen the whole time. How cool is that? Yeah. So, and then we have, I can't remember if this one was marketed as an angel. That's what I used to create, but my angels were very simple. They were kind of cartoon-like. Because I taught elementary art for a long time, and I actually enjoy illustration and like children's book style, fairy tale book style illustration. I really get into that. But this one looks a little bit more like the old school paintings you would see on cathedrals and like the ceilings, like the Sistine Chapel and stuff like that. That's what I thought of this. But check this out. It's like the face of an angel, I thought that was super cool. And it's just signed Motyl, Motyl, I guess, in the year of 2015. It's even cooler in person. All these are really neat to look at in person. But I just thought you might enjoy a little break from your day looking at some art. This one I was really impressed with. It's called The Valley of Shadows. And this is an original artwork by Alessia Carmi, I think. And so it's like a whole story going on here with an angel and the person. If you look right here, this little person's kind of bent down, and I just imagine, that they're in a dark place. They're in, a valley, the dark night of the soul, but yet they're not alone. Here we see an angel. Maybe this person doesn't even know that the angel is there with them, to protect them and comfort them or whatever. Just gorgeous. I hope that my phone is focusing on these appropriately. But anyway, it's super beautiful in person. So I really love that one too. And then we go back to some more happy, bright paintings. Here we have a little house on the cliffs near an ocean. And again, beautiful rocks. I see a lot of rocks in the paintings that I find. It's called Lighthouse by Judy Irwin from 2015. And we're nearing the end of my little art card collection here. And so we have, I don't have the artist on this one sadly, but look how beautiful. Look at those colors in the night sky and the bright moon. And even the smoke from the chimney and the snow falling you can see in front of the trees. There's just so much about this one that I love. And I've checked a time or two on eBay again in the last few years, and I can't find any more art cards like this. These are, I don't know if people just aren't making them anymore or what, but and then I had someone locally years ago that was sending me, it was someone that I went to high school with, and it was her daughter that found out that I was doing an art exchange. And so she started to send me these little postcards that she drew. And this one says, plants smile, grow, laughter. Plants grow, smile, laughter, and harvest love. Or plants smile, grow, laughter. Okay, I got it. Plants smile, grow laughter, and harvest love. How beautiful is that? Little mushrooms. So, and then there's a little personal note on the back side. And there were several people that really enjoyed the exchange with me, and I enjoyed it as well. And then the next four are some that I made many years ago. And these are very cartoon-like and childlike and happy, and they're Christmas themed. So I hope you enjoy them. Just a little woman here, or a young girl, outside with the birds, and the little candy cane lollipops here. I just enjoy making pretty, happy things, right? And then we have a little snowman in front of some houses here. Just happy colors. And it's like, why not? I learned I had to take the art classes where you had to be serious, and you had to, paint the model that they would bring into the room, and you had to be very realistic with your style. And it's like, I can do that, in some ways. There's parts that I struggle with in terms of realism, but, I have certain techniques and media that I can use to get pretty accurate with realism. But I'm finding that a lot of artists, that's part of their training, but then they want to bring in their own freedom and liberty with their creativity and imagination, and they just wind up branching out and doing, other things that are not realistic whatsoever. It's sort of like we make full circle, and we come back to a childlike creativity, in our efforts. And that's what I've done. And so now, anytime I sit down, if I have 30 minutes or an hour, I just play. I just love it. I just play. So here's some more little, these are all mine again. You can see I love the theme of stars and moon and sun and just the sky in general, and just bright, happy colors. Those are sort of some of my, I guess you might say, signature elements. And then I have a little Christmas fairy here. And so here she is, just kind of cute and happy and sparkly. Can you see the sparkle on her wings? So that's her with her little star wand. And yeah, that's another thing. I love to create little people just from my imagination. And then these were some of the art exchange. So I showed you my eBay cards that I purchased. I showed you some that I made. I sold several cards. Specifically with cats and angels. That was kind of on eBay, that was sort of my thing. But now these are some from the group when we would swap Happy Mail. We called them, Happy Mail. And so there's also this term called, and it's been so many years since I've mentioned it, but it's paper ephemera. I don't remember how to say it, but I'll put it in the description. But it's basically where if you are in a collective with other people, or a group with other people who are into creating, you can swap. You can mail one another these little pieces. It could just be stickers or parts of a magazine cutout, or even if you are a painter and you have a paper that you've painted on, and maybe it's just not something you want to keep, you can kind of cut it up, or even like tear it to give it, that really jagged edge, and just mail off different parts of that. And so we would swap envelopes just full of all this random little pieces, of paper and different things. And then that person, whoever received it, could use it in their art. And so that was a lot of fun. But this one says, lose yourself, find yourself. It is when we are furthest from home that we most become ourselves. This is where we discover new things, grow, share, and unite with others. And you have like this little person, almost looks like she's dancing in her dress. So pretty cool. I love the clock there too, almost like, hey, we get one shot and time is short. So, we have to make it count. We have to make it count. And then this is one, a really cool postcard. Looks like it was probably watercolor and stamps. And I believe some of these little stamped orbs say, let's see, something shared with friends. Happiness grows when shared with friends, which is cool. And it's also got another stamp that says from South Carolina. So, and then there's one in the middle that says, hey there. I don't know if you see that one there in the middle. So, just kind of neat. Just an explosion of colors and patterns and beautiful markings and things like that. And so this is one that looks like it was probably a collage. It says, I believe you should create art. And at the end of the little teacup there and saucer, it has a little, I guess maybe like a tea bag tag, and it says red rose, love in every cup. So just kind of neat. So there's that. And I think that's all. Maybe there's a few more. This is just something fun that I did many years ago playing around. I took a magazine that had dogs in it, and I would cut their faces in half and then fill it in with paint. And this is the last one in my book here. This is from artist Alicia Hayes, and this is the Cheshire Cat here from Alice in Wonderland. So pretty cool. So that's pretty much it. And I just wanted to share. I've been wanting to share this with you all for some time. I know it's not an art channel, but y'all know I'm an artist, so I kind of can't not be what I am. So, but yeah, the personal touch. If there's, of course we can, partake in self-care. But when you receive something that was given from another person, from their heart, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And it doesn't have to be tangible, literal, physical. It can be something spoken, It can be anything. But I just think that, if you want to get creative with the ways that you can shine your light into the world, it's kind of like it doesn't only lift up the other person, but it lifts you up too. And so I just wanted to kind of touch base with you all and just encourage you to get creative and to stay inspired. So I'm going to be putting these stickers on my Jeep pretty soon. Take care of yourself, because you never know what people are going through. And I feel like God will use our efforts to align the people who need to hear our message with us in some way. He'll have that person get in traffic right behind us in their car, and they're going to, be looking at the back of our car, and they're going to be seeing these stickers. Everything will be okay. Just take care of yourself. So I like to swap out different encouraging stickers on my vehicles when I'm out and about, because you never know. And I know that it's like, that's my part, and then God does the rest. And I hope that I take that back. I don't hope. I know that He is going to work all of this stuff, all of our efforts, in the way that's best for those that love Him. It says that in the Bible. And so just some encouragement, and wanted to inspire you, give you some ideas, get the wheels turning like I'm always talking about, and touch base with you all. So I hope you're doing good. I'd love to hear from you if you feel called to share whatever you're up to. If you have some creative ideas or things that interest you right now, or any kind of creative endeavors you got your hands in, I'd love to hear all about it if you want to share. So thanks so much for coming along to hear the message. I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you again very soon.